Let's take a respite from the portal for just one segment and talk about how wonderful that game was last night.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein. That's him. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. We'll talk about FanDuel in just a little bit. I want to thank you every day for joining every day. You know why? You've made sports so awesome, and you've made Locked On the number one sports podcast network. I can't believe I screwed that up. That's all right.
Sports is awesome.
So, Jimmy, we're going to talk about some things. I mean, Jordan Renaud getting in the portal. We're going to talk about potentially a couple of big names deciding they're returning and what effect that has on the team. We're going to talk about a quote from Simpson that'll just bring you to tears if you're a Gump. But I think you got to start with basketball. I know there's some people that just want to talk portal, and football, and I'm with you, and we do it all the time. But, man, last night was awesome against Mississippi State. I mean, here Alabama comes in, down Keaton Bristow, down Taylor Bowen, down
Reitzel.
Like Latrell Reitzel. You're essentially coming in with 8 guys. Now, 9 if you count Preston Murphy Jr., who played 2 minutes. But you're essentially coming in with 8 guys. You're going against a team that has beaten Texas on the road, a team that just beat you at home. You're going against a team with Josh Hubbard, who, you know, he's got to be first team All-SEC. I mean, he's really good.
Phenomenal.
I would put him in All-American discussion, third team probably. I mean, he's so deadgum talented. I love him. And you're going into the hump, the Gumps in the hump, where, you know, that place can be kind of hard to play. Now, I know most of us didn't get to see the very beginning of the game because Buckyball and the Volunteers went into double OT, but the beginning of the game was at a fever pitch because Mississippi State hates Alabama, and I get it. And that's a rivalry dating back to Stansbury and Godfrey. And Mississippi State goes up big. It's 29-15. My daughter, who had a game last night, she scored 11 of the team, 17, by the way. She's a big Alabama basketball fan. And she gets in the car and she goes, "Dad, this can't be right. It's already 29-15. Mississippi State." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm afraid it's right." And so by the time we get home, it's 34-32 Bama. It was like just a blitzkrieg. And at halftime, you're thinking, okay, I hope this team didn't wear itself out making that run. And then lo and behold, they extend it in the blink of an eye. You could tell first of all, that flagrant 2 foul was so warranted, where that Walker kid hit Amari Allen. I was so mad. That was just dirty. That was dirty play, and I'm thankful that the officials, who get a lot of heck, I'm thankful they threw him out. That was dirty. It was disgusting. It was frustrated. Fouling. I hated it because you really could have hurt Amari Allen. And the irony of it all is that he almost hurt himself. He almost broke his left arm stopping his fall, if you saw it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know, I'm really proud of this team, really proud of the way that they came back after a loss to Texas. Frankly, if you ask me, and some people are going to disagree, I believe this offsets the Texas loss, and here's why. If we were healthy, I wouldn't do that. Say that. We had 8 people available, and we go on the road in the SEC and win in big fashion. I think that offsets the Texas loss, where we played a little lethargically.
I think because you lose one at home, you got to steal one on the road, and it did feel like they stole one last night, principally because exactly for the reason you said. When you're going on the road playing a team that beat the team you just lost to on the road, and you've only got 8 players, and you have 3 guys who normally play with the ones that are out, it does feel like you stole one. But on the other hand, it doesn't feel like we stole one because we so convincingly beat them. I mean, we beat the crap out of them, especially the last 30 minutes of the game, because the first 10 minutes, they were beating up on us pretty good. But the last 30 minutes of the game, we just absolutely crushed them. So it didn't really feel like we stole anything, but we just beat a team we're much better than. A couple of things I want to credit with the win. First of all, um, weirdly, I do think that having only 8, I liked the rotation. I'm not saying we should stick with playing 8 and not play these other guys when they're healthy, because that's crazy. They're good players, but I just kind of felt like we were forced into a rotation that forced those 8 guys to really all get into the flow of the game. All 8 were contributing. All 8 felt like they were a big part of thing. They all played a lot of minutes. I think Jalil Bethea even played 20 minutes, which I'm sure is a career high for him at Alabama. So I like that. And secondly, LeBaron Philon. I think last night proved what I suspected. And I don't really think I'm going out on a limb here either, but I think Philon had been sick. I mean, he obviously, the Vanderbilt thing where he had the full body cramps, which means major dehydration. And then he didn't play well at all, I thought, against Texas on Saturday. Last night, he was himself. Last night, he just took over the game. Last night, he's like, you know what? My team needs me, and I'm going to put him on my. And I thought LeBaron Philon sort of put us on his back and just flat out won the game and proved he should be a top 15 pick in the NBA draft. I like the 8-man rotation and LeBaron Philon being back. Again, I write off the 2 losses and Philon's 2 performances to him being sick, although I've never gotten official confirmation of that. To me, it just seems sort of obvious.
I think it clearly was obvious that something was going on, and it makes sense because this team has been completely snake bitten all year in terms of injuries and sickness and everything else. I think LeBaron revels in the role of, let me take over for a little bit,
Yep.
Because in high school, that's what he did. I mean,
Exactly.
For those who don't know, when he was in high school, like it was the, is that brandy?
I wish. It's sweet tea. I'm sorry.
Holy goodness.
8:20 in the morning.
I know. I was like, boy, Jimmy's getting a late start.
I am, for no one's going to care, but when I wake up in the morning, early in the morning for like the first hour and a half or 2 hours, I drink sweet tea like some people drink coffee, I guess. I'm a major sweet. I mean, I go through a ton of sweet tea, and usually the fake sugar, though.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. I mean, like Southern sweet tea will just give you diabetes immediately. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I drink the fake tea, the fake
the
sugar tea, the usually the Milo's,
yeah. You
0
can't
calorie.
even do like half and half with Milo sweet tea, man. That'll give you the sugar quick.
Yeah, I just do 0 calorie Milo's.
But so I just, for those who don't remember him in Mobile, and then of course he went to the Link School in Missouri, right?
That's where he went for his final year, but he played at Baker. And I still remember, because he's local to me, you know how I am about the Mobile kids. I can remember the day it happened when LeBaron Philon was in the 9th grade at Baker and got an SEC offer. It was actually Ole Miss.
Mhm.
Ole Miss offered him in the 9th grade. And I remember thinking that day, because I'd never heard of Philon, I hadn't seen him because he's just in the 9th grade at Baker. And I'm like, a 9th grade basketball player just got an SEC offer and he's at Baker. This kid's going to be a thing. And then, of course, I started following him on social media then and keeping up with him. But yeah, I remember the day that Ole Miss offered him in the 9th grade. And that's why I was so happy that he ended up at Alabama. Because for a long time, even though he had the 4 years of being a prominent player in Mobile, for a lot of that 4 years, it didn't look like he was going to be at Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, and I think he always wanted to be at Alabama. He admittedly grew up an Alabama fan, but I remember being told, hey, this staff just isn't as high on him as some other staffs. I remember he committed to Auburn. And I remember my Auburn buddies were like, oh, you're just saying excuses. I was like, no, I said, I love him. I want us to pursue him. I don't know why we're not, but I got to trust the staff. Well, I mean, for whatever reason, they obviously they changed their minds. But the other thing about
it's a good thing they did. I was with you the whole time. I'm like, why isn't he at the top of the priority list?
Yeah.
I never understood it. But of course, I'm more of a football evaluator guy than a basketball evaluator guy. But I thought Philon, heck, I wanted to offer him back after I started paying attention to him. I wanted Alabama to offer him and make him a top priority when he was in the 9th grade.
100%. And the irony is, it should be Aiden Holloway and LeBaron Philon. If they had stuck with where they were, they should be at Auburn, which thankfully they're not. But anyway, yeah, that'd be tough on us. But I mean, look, a couple of things from last night too. Number one, I love how this team at first, I was really worried when we got down big. I was worried this team was responding poorly to what Nate Oats had been saying. Like Nate Oats called a lot of them out and said, hey, somebody's going to start rebounding. Somebody's going to start playing defense. Somebody's going to show up with some fire. And they didn't show up that way. And I was thinking, man, that would, because you, as a coach, you try to reach a team a certain way and sometimes it can backfire. And at first I was thinking it was backfiring. But then the team, it was that Houston Millette layup after a block that sort of got things going. By the way, that was Millette's first score in like 3 games, his first bucket. And then Millette also hit a 3 later in the game. And for those who didn't see it, like right after he hit it, he looked up to the sky like, thank you, God. Finally. But then he did a heat check on the very next play and missed another one, but that's okay. What really stood out to me was the team was tough. Mississippi State plays like Mississippi State always does. I'm going to be honest with you. Frankly, it's too rough. It's physical, but it's too rough, and the officials need to get a handle on that. It's BS.
There wasn't a lot of foul calls. I felt like
it was BS.
I mentioned watching with my wife, who let's give her credit. This is a nice observation. What I said was, boy, they're letting them play tonight. And she said, it's very smart. She said, I don't understand when they say just let them play. Why don't they call fouls when they're fouls? I'm like, I'm
100% on with her on it.
You may have just cracked the code.
Yeah, that is a great way to put it. But so the team was getting hit that a foul on Amari Allen was – shoot, there was a foul that they didn't call when there was a screen set on Aiden Holloway, and it almost knocked him to the floor, and it was clearly a moving screen, and Holloway sort of like had to catch his balance. And I was like, how do you not call it? Like when you let stuff like that go, it's only going to get worse. They're going to keep pushing the envelope. Well, the team didn't let that get to them. They didn't like jaw back at them. Again, that play by Walker was so dirty, and it could have really flustered Bama. And with only 8 people, that really could have ended up badly, and it didn't. And I just think the team grew up a lot last night. I know it's only Mississippi State. They're not going to the tournament, I don't think. So I'm not trying to say this team's headed for a national championship.
A 3-game losing streak would have been fairly disaster. I don't want to say disaster, but a 3-game losing streak would have been bad. We're trying to win the league. You can't win the league and lose 3 straight.
Well, and also, I text you, was like, dang, if this keeps up, we may not make the tournament. And you brought a point. It's like, a lot's going to have to happen. And you're right. It was a bit of – let me tell you something else. Speaking of overreactions, if you were on the BOL forum last night and you posted – whoever posted Nate Oats got to go, no, you got to go. You got to go. Don't say stuff like that, because I don't want it getting back to Nate Oats, because – I'm telling you, this guy is the best. We need to keep him. I'm sorry if we lost to Texas at home. It is very rare we lose to a team that's unranked. It is very rare we lose at home. It is very rare we lose. So, y'all, I cannot stand the overreaction.
The message boards, when you're behind, the message board is always full of quitters. Well, and also, that's a fact. When you're behind, the message boards are just full of quitters. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing they don't coach.
I get it. Look, I understand it if we were in the middle of the Gottfried or Grant era, or the end of the Gottfried era, maybe the beginning, the Grant era, however long, or in the Shula era or something like that. And you're like, hey, man, it's time for a change. I get it. You're saying you want Nate Oats to go when we played the hardest schedule in the country, where we've been hurt like nobody's business, and we just come off 2 Elite 8 performances in a Final Four?
He's universally considered one of the top 10 coaches in college basketball.
If we let him go, it'll take 10 seconds for him to sign somewhere else.
With a Kentucky level program.
Exactly.
And to say nothing of the NBA.
Those people they're the worst. FanDuel, that's not the worst. That's the best. I've always said that. Even before they were a sponsor. FanDuel, I love you. The college football playoff is here, and FanDuel is giving all customers even more ways to get in on the action every single game and every single day of the playoffs. Because right now, every college football playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost waiting for them in the app. Here's what I love about it. You get to use the profit boost on the bets you already feel good about. Ride with the favorite when you think a team controls the matchup, or take a shot on the underdog if you feel an upset is coming, or build a parlay around the players and moments you think decide the game. Then you apply the profit boost and go after even bigger winnings. And when you win, FanDuel pays out instantly, which is perfect for playoff football. FanDuel is the best place to get in on the action all playoff long. So visit FanDuel.com to get your college football playoff profit boost every single day. And y'all know it's a Jimmy Stein guarantee. I ain't even got to tell you, but I'm gonna. All right, back to football. We all love basketball, but back to football. Couple of things. First of all, Alabama got a transfer in. I believe he's already signed. Is Caleb Smith, who was at Parker. Well, he was at Gardendale. Then he transferred to Parker. So he's got some experience in transferring. And he goes to Parker. Now, if I remember correctly, he was on a team that finished second for a state championship at Parker. Is that right?
Yeah, I think he was on that team that had Vodney Cleveland. I think he was a defensive lineman on the Vodney Cleveland team. Oh wow, yeah, that they were loaded out. Caleb is a good. He's a late bloomer, solid prospect. Signed with Washington. Very unusual for a Birmingham player to sign with Washington. And no, I think he signed with Jed Fish and not the DeBoer staff. The Jed Fish staff. And he goes to Washington and he redshirted. So he didn't play. He just wants to be home. And Alabama's got a connection there. I think the guy that trains him trains a lot of Alabama players in the offseason. So I think through the trainer, we likely knew Caleb wants to, be back at if there's an opportunity. And Alabama's got spots. He wasn't, because he was lightly recruited, a 3-star type, and went to Washington and redshirted and didn't play. He wasn't expensive. Here's my feeling is I think this is the type kid that when he's coming out of high school, Alabama didn't have a spot for him. Mm-hmm. But now out of the portal, and you've moved to 105 scholarships available instead of 85, now you got a spot for him. And, I just think this is one of those worth the gamble type guys. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to pretend that he's a big thing because really, and since he didn't play at Washington at all, he's still, in my mind, just sort of what he was coming out of high school, a 3-star type prospect, but a 3-star with some significant upside. Apparently he's added some size in his year at Washington. Looks like a bandit to me. And with the news Luke's about to tell y'all, we sort of need all the bandits we can get because the bandits have left the building.
They have jumped on a train, as bandits tend to do after they have gotten the sacks of money. Jordan Renaud
has never been more aptly named, huh?
I know. Jordan Renaud is in the portal. I kind of don't get this one. It's one of those where, like, Jordan Renaud was not overwhelming anybody.
Yeah,
he wouldn't necessarily. In fact, I would say he's closer to underwhelming than overwhelming.
I think that's true. Now that he's gone, and we can be a little blunt. He hadn't been great. He hadn't been great. He's only been kind of good. I'll go that kind of good.
We need the bodies.
That's right, because we lost the other bandit and Keon Keeley. And here's my thought: if Keeley and Renaud were both back, I would feel good about the position simply because Renaud is better than Keeley against the run, and Keeley's a better pass rusher than Renaud. So the two of them together form one pretty good player because, again, you can play Keeley on 3rd down and you can play Renaud on 1st and 2nd down. And I think you'd have a pretty good player there. But let's also be honest about losing this. And I think this is the first thing the staff will tell you. Renaud has not proven to be a good pass rusher, and Keeley had not been a good 3-down player. Neither one of them are complete players, and they shouldn't merit gigantic paydays because they're not complete players. That's true. But now let's be honest too and say, but this is not a good situation at Bandit. You've lost LT Overton to the NFL. You can't help that. He's out of eligibility. And now you lose Bandit 2 and Bandit 3. And now the only Bandit returning that was on the team last year on scholarships, Fatutoa Henry, who has played with the ones, but I don't think he's starter level good. Now that could change this spring. This spring, we might see something in him and go wow. And maybe the staff knows something, with him. I'm just saying he's the only Bandit returning. But now I'm guessing Caleb Tompkins from USC ends up playing more bandit than I assumed the day we signed him.
Devin Tompkins?
Yeah, Devin, not Caleb. Devin Tompkins. Yeah, Caleb Smith is the other bandit.
Yeah.
I think both of those guys are going to be bandits now. And Tompkins, to me, was more of a three-tech interior guy, kind of replacing James Smith. But he has played outside in his career at USC. He is a good athlete. I'm not sure he's going to give us a lot of pass rush there. But, one thing you could do, and I feel like we're trying to, rig this thing up in a way to where it works. But he's going to be good against the run, playing bandit. And then on the third downs and 10s, you can play the two Wolves, Yonsei, Pierre, and Justin Hill, and have both Wolves rushing the passer on the 3rd and 10s. But nevertheless, it'd just be more ideal to have a bandit that could play the run and get after the passer. And those guys aren't hard to find.
Yeah. And boy, we are along the lines. We are so young. I mean, offensive line wise, I think we only got like one junior, and I mean, the rest sophomore and freshman and true freshmen.
We
and
could
defensive
start 3 redshirt freshmen on the offensive line. It's very possible we'll have 3.
And here's the problem with that. In the old days, I'd be like, okay, growing pains, but then they'll grow together. If they're good, then they're going to want a bunch of money the very next year, and you got the same problem. So, I mean, yeah, but I'm going to wait for the portal to be done to really judge it. But man, we got to get some more people. I mean, we just got to, and surely we are. And surely they won't be, all American level, but there are some guys still getting in the portal. Indiana, Miami will have some guys get in the portal. I promise you. Oregon just had a bunch of dudes get in the portal. I don't know how many of them we're going to pursue or whatever, and I know we're scouring the earth and some more people may get in the portal. Jordan Renaud just got in yesterday. So
yeah, I won't be surprised. I'm expecting a couple more Alabama players to get in the portal, to be honest, and I'm expecting it. And the portal deadline, I believe, is Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. A couple things I counted up. I'm going to have a ranking on here. We're going to do this segment soon. When the portal closes, I want to do like a ranking on here in just one segment, ranking the guys that left. Who left that hurts? I counted up before we did the show, Luke, including special teams. We have lost 12 players that I would have projected would play with the first team next fall. 12. And I'm not saying 12 starters. I'm saying 12 guys who would have played with the ones walked out.
At some point. Yeah.
And in terms of a projection of the guys coming in, including special teams, maybe 9 guys that are coming in will play with the ones. So we need to add minimum 3 more, but really more like 3 to 5 more guys, I think,
more
that will play with the ones. You don't want to lose more first-team players to the portal than are coming in. So Alabama still has more work to do in the portal. But the good news is, I mean, Jordan Seaton got in, and I'm not saying Alabama's going to be in it with him. We correctly predicted no there. That's just crazy pricey. But the fact that Jordan Seaton's getting in, the fact that Jordan Renaud went in from Alabama shows I don't think really good players getting in the portal is done. There will be some last-minute big names getting in the portal and guys that can help you. And Alabama does have available funds because a lot of the guys have left. The quarterback left who makes quite a bit. That frees up money. And Ty, we're about to talk about Ty. But Alabama does have available money because they smartly don't overspend, which means they do have money to spend.
And we're about to tell you some more good news, and we're going to give you some tear-jerking news here in just a second. All right, so first of all, join our Everydayer Club. I mean, you would love it. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Man, I loved it last night after the basketball game because so many guys are in the Everydayer Club. That's lockedonbama.com/Everydayer Club. They are also big basketball fans. And Michael Asian Jimmy Southern is on there, and he does a great job with the memes and the GIFs and all that stuff. And there was a great one last night of LaBaron Philon like walking a bulldog and at the hump. It was pretty cool. So go join the Everydayer Club. It's $5 a month or $50 for a year. I mean, that's couch money. And my wife just sold a couch we had. I should have checked it for more money. Anyway, the good news. it looks like, at least it's being reported, Keon, Sabb, and Yonsei Pierre are going to return to Alabama. And you talk about, I mean, really, even if just one of them had left, I'd be sweating bullets. But having both of them back is tremendous. Could that have an effect on some other people in the secondary potentially getting in the portal? It could. But I'm willing to say, hey, I got to roll with what I got. And people could get in the portal even if they still declared for the draft. So if Keon Sabb wants to come back, man, get your bad self over here. The only thing I ask is when we send you on a corner blitz now, get to the house and bring the quarterback now.
Yes, you got to like Sabb's experience. I mean, it'll be in his 3rd year as a starter at Alabama, his 5th year being a college football player. Keon Sabb, and I don't take this lightly. I think it's a big deal. He'll be a major candidate to be a team captain. He's an absolute leader in the locker room. I remember my favorite Sabb story has nothing to do with play on the field, but Sabb had only been on the team for like a couple of months. And the leadership council, DeBoer's first ever leadership council at Alabama, DeBoer met with those guys and said, all right, our first meeting, anything you guys have any suggestions to improve things around here? And the first thing the leadership council told him is, yeah, we need to add Keon Sabb to this group. I mean, that's how, and that was when he first got there. I mean, that's how big a voice the guy has. And again, a 3rd-year starter, having Sabb back is big. And this is how big Yonsei Pierre back is. He could have gone into the draft, and I think would have probably shocked people how high he would have been drafted. Yonsei Pierre, I think, will be a candidate. Now, I know this is going to be loud and crazy, but write this down. I feel so confident in it. Yonsei Pierre will be a major candidate to be the SEC Defensive Player of the Year next year. I really believe that. Major candidate for SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I didn't say win it. I just said he's a major candidate to be the best defensive, most impactful defensive player in the whole 16-team league. Having him back is just massive. And boy, do we need that help on the edge. The Wolves, we have 2 principal Wolves in Yonsei Pierre and Justin Hill. We need monster years from both because it does look like Bandit's going to be a problem. So we might have to play with 2 Wolves on the field on obvious passing downs. And hey, double-digit sack year. That's what we need. Double-digit sacks from Yonsei Pierre and maybe Justin Hill too.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm really happy about that. Then I got to get to this because, I mean, it just warms the cockles of your heart. You know how I feel about the cockles of my heart. I'm very protective of them.
I'm telling you, you need to see a doctor about
that. This is from a story by Chris Lowe. I'm sure a lot of you have already read it, but boy, just hearing it again, as an Alabama fan, it's got to make you feel good. And this is a quote from Ty Simpson. Everybody would just remember me as the guy who took all this money and went to Miami or Tennessee for his last year. But I was a captain. I put my hand and footprints in the cement at Denny Chimes. I would have lost everything that I built at Alabama. That's Ty Simpson when talking about, the potential offers he got that were for $6.5 million from Miami allegedly, and Ole Miss decided to match it, and $4 million from other people. Tennessee. In a day and age when everybody's selling out, in a day and age when everybody's chasing the dollar, and while we all hate it, we also all kind of understand it. To hear something like that, like old school, got to have some loyalty, man, that makes you feel good. Ty Simpson, he should be moving up some people's all-time favorites. Now, I'm not saying he's anybody's all-time favorite quarterback. I'm saying when you think about what kind of guys you want on the team, of course, you're going to say, hey, I'd love a David Palmer or Devontae Smith or a Derek Thomas or a Derrick Henry. But you also want them to have the Ty Simpson attitude.
I want people to look at that. I know this is how I look at it. I wish everyone would look at it this way. Just put aside, how good you think Ty is as a player. Just put that aside for 1 second. But just think about these two facts about him. He could have left Alabama and gone to another big school to have been the starting quarterback earlier in his career, but he stayed at Alabama and waited his turn all the way to year 4. He waited until year 4 to get his turn at Alabama. That deserves enormous praise. And then on the way out the door, he turns down $6.5 million to play in another jersey because he didn't want to play football in another jersey. That's why I'm not going to play in another jersey. I'm Alabama, and turns down $6.5 million. Ty Simpson is the most loyal gump in the history of Alabama quarterbacking. And I'm going back a long way. I mean, I'm just saying, what other Alabama quarterback, especially in this modern time, would wait 4 years for a shot, goes out there and delivers in the sense that he's very likely to be a first-round pick in the draft, and then turns down $6.5 million because he didn't want Alabama fans to think for 1 second that he cared more about the money than who he played for. And I think greatest, most loyal gump we've ever had at quarterback, or maybe any position. And I hope people look at it that way and don't mix in their opinion about the quarterbacking, good or bad. Regardless of that, it's a great story, and we should all 100% be pulling for him, of course. And he officially entered the draft, by the way. So now it's a done deal that he entered the draft, and right now he looks like QB3 per all the mocks, but I don't buy the mocks as science. So we'll have to see going forward.
Here's the thing: you love to see people who do the right thing, even when you might not have done that right thing. You love to see them be rewarded, and Ty Simpson may be rewarded in this sense. Dante Moore has not decided to come out in the draft yet. He may go back to Oregon because, Oregon may pay him $6.5 million. Who knows? I know they got Dylan Raiola, but they might. And if Dante Moore doesn't come out, I mean, it's going to be Mendoza and then probably Ty Simpson. Now, you can say, I don't know that he's a first pick. It doesn't matter in the NFL. You got to go get your quarterbacks, and you got to pick one. If your team needs one, you're going to get the best one available. And it reminds me of Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, not in terms of quality of quarterback, but Tim Tebow had some principles. He, remained celibate until marriage, and everybody was like, "You're nuts! You're in the SEC. There's SEC pretty all around you. You should be worn out." But he stayed celibate, and then he married Ms. Universe.
I didn't imagine when we said we'd have a Ty Simpson segment that we'd be talking about Tim Tebow's sex.
Well, I'm saying he got rewarded.
He did get Miss Universe. That's a nice title, by the way.
I mean, it's the age-old question. Would you rather have, 110 for the rest of your life or 152s?
That's the age-old question. I hope she walks around with like a business card that says Miss Universe.
Yeah.
I would never she should never have taken off the sash. Just wear the sash forever. Even, to Walmart.
Oh, I bet Tim makes her wear it sometimes. And if I were Tim, I'd have a business card that said, "I'm married to Ms. Universe." Aren't you Tim Tebow? Yes, I'm Ms. Universe's husband. Thank you. Boy, I did not expect. We didn't even have a read yet. Reading this.
I'd wear the sash like, she should wear it like to Walmart. Like, oh, check it out over there in the bread aisle. It's Miss Universe.
Daniel Tosh has a great bit where he says, sometimes when he goes out and he sees three women walking together, he goes, he just goes up to them and goes, "Third, second, first." And they're like, what happened? And he said, then I give the first one a ribbon. And when we get home, she goes, everybody's like, "What'd you get that ribbon for?" He's like, "Oh, some guy thought I won." Anyway. All right. I gotta run, but that's going to do it for today's podcast. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Until then, roll tide.
Roll tide.